Welcome, welcome to the Breaking Chains podcast, episode 6.
Season 2.
Season 2. Today we're going to be talking about work-life balance and if that is even possible.
And falling under the season 2 entrapment of expansion.
Yes.
As you own a business and you grow a business, you would love it to expand. That's the reality of business, right? Like you don't want it to stay stagnant, at least in the sense of profitability.
In any way,
right? Like customers. But there's also a balance there too, right? Like we could set limitations on business in our mind, whether we think we can or cannot, like grow a business in a certain way. And maybe you could even talk about the limitations you've set for yourself before of how you thought about business and what it had to look like, as opposed to like what it looks like now for you, what expansion looks like now for you in business. I think that's a really good place to start.
What expansion looks like now?
Yeah, because I remember there was a point where you're like, franchise, gotta own more businesses, right? Gotta own more MBDs, gotta like really like have more buildings. And I think as we have grown together and we've grown in the business, you've kind of changed that. Am I wrong? I don't know. I never know where your head's at, so.
Yeah, a franchise of an NBD franchise has always been in my heart since 2009 when it first started. As I look at my life now, it's still there. The difference is, though, I'm in gratitude for what's here right now. And so it's not that you're wrong. You just see things very black and white. For me, what I'm doing is taking my foot off the gas pedal of feeling like more is going to make me feel better.
Okay.
And I'm appreciating what I have right now.
Okay.
In the moment, knowing that even the next club or the next 50 clubs is not going to make me feel more whole inside myself. So that is the message that I share with you today, that only this journey and challenge would have brought me to.
Okay. See, I just don't know. Because when I was thinking about, like what happened in COVID with gyms shutting down, and well, let's first start off like our relationship, because our producer kind of gave us this idea of talking about work-life balance and working together very closely, how we even began to work together in the industry. I started off as a personal trainer. You started off as my manager, and you hate when I say that.
I was not her direct manager.
He's definitely my manager.
Here we go again.
He's definitely like the person that was in charge of me. In terms of, you were the personal training department manager.
I was actually the personal training director.
Okay.
And then you were with another man, Joe Haney.
Right.
Who was
my manager.
The actual personal training
manager. But then he
manager.
was gone. He left very shortly after I came on. So who was my manager then?
However you liked it.
So it is. None of that's relevant, but it kind of is, because our relationship started in the gym. Well, kind of. Like I quit MBD a couple times, and then like I kept coming back as a trainer because it was what I was good at. So I could always fall back on personal training. During my college career, I was like, oh, I'm gonna go do social work, and then it was like, psych. Came back to personal training. I'm gonna go be a dental assistant again. Psych, came back to personal training. And it's something that my heart is in, and I have the gift. Like I'm very good at what I do. And it just comes naturally for me, and I need to move all day, so it really works. And then so that's my heart is in the dealing with clients, really loving to work with bodies, loving to connect with people, loving to be with people, and really fulfilling my purpose of being able to gift people the connection with their body. Like I can help people understand how to move a little more.
Gotcha.
It's a gift that I've been given. All right. And your gift has kind of been like, maybe that's one of them, like personal training, just as like we all have many gifts, but like your gift really is like running business. Like you like were born to like hustle.
I would say that.
Like this guy was selling candy bars in elementary school, right?
So yeah, you're right about, I was definitely born to hustle.
Right.
But I think that's been some of the most challenging things over the last 3 years is connecting like my heart with my purpose with business.
Right.
It's been challenging because the last 3 years have made me wholeheartedly, like I've always wanted to transform lives. Obviously, I've been a trainer for 20 years. But now it's about so much more than just the physical body, that it becomes a lifestyle.
Right. So I said all of that to get to the point of how different our minds work, though.
Yeah.
Like I was never on the bit. Like I don't want to put this into the reality, the realm of what is but what has happened in my past. So I just use the word but. I try to not use the word but. What has happened is business never came naturally to me. Like it was not like I would be like, oh, you want to train? All right, let me do this for free. I was always afraid to ask for my exchange of energy, right? I would give, and be afraid. And a lot of trainers go through this, right? Like this is the hardest thing in the industry is making the sale, right? But once I realized that I had nothing to sell, it was like, I have this to give to you. What do you have to give back?
Exchange.
Because I have nothing left to just give for free because this is a lot of my energy. And I've like ran myself basically to the grave by giving and letting like leeches suck me dry in terms of training, where I've come to the point where like, oh no, I definitely, doing the sale, the closing is the easiest thing for me now because like I no longer think I'm asking somebody for something that I don't deserve, right? So, but in the heart of my heart, I still feel like business is your thing and like movement is my thing. Like it's just something that I'm super passionate about, and that's something you're super passionate about. So all this being said is just how different our heads work within this business. Because this is where the tension arises, especially around things that I think are important and things that you think are important and things you need to think are important and things I need to think are important. And we kind of balance each other out. But in that balancing causes a little friction.
A little? A lot of friction.
Okay. Tell me how.
Well, like you just said, our minds are different. So if I'm focused on the business, I'm really focused on the whole as much as I can be, and how to make sure all of the pieces are supported and working together. There's a lot of give and take in that situation. There's peaks and valleys. There's relationships down here, and then there's relationships up here, because everybody is on their own journey to begin with. And they're not always able to bring their A game, but you don't kick them to the curb because they had a bad day. And I try to read between the lines. And from your perspective, a lot is on you and what you're focused on and how NBD affects your life, because NBD affects our life for both of us. And I feel like right now we have done a really good job, actually, of coming much closer together and seeing what you observe, things that I observe, and me being open to your feedback in specific ways so that I can actually take that perspective, right? So instead of like having these two eyes looking at something going on in the company, I'm like, why not another two, right? Your feedback still is not always easy to take, whether it's delivery or whether it's my own feelings internally. it's still vitally important for me to be open enough to take in on a regular basis, to be able to see things, because you feel things that are unique to you, that have a lot of truth to it.
Well, right. Well, when it comes to like the ins and the outs, right? My mind also is like very like, okay, we need to focus on, okay, this issue, or like the general energy, right? So I'm always thinking like energetically, what am I feeling from all the feedback from all these places, right? And then you have this other perception that's more like in it. All right. So like I'm more like out here where I'm not doing the numbers. I'm not trying to keep track of little tasks and payroll and all that stuff, but I am in it, right? Like in terms of I'm getting customer feedback. I'm still teaching classes. I hear whispers. I hear a lot of voices, and then I feel an overall energy. So instead of me being able to be exact with like, okay, this needs to happen in the business, I'm more of like, something needs to change, and it may be this position or this position, but like, I feel like I want less control of little things, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, because that's an easier road. Like, for instance,
You
can...
may think
no,
it is,
no, hold on
but
a sec.
also-
You cut me off. Right?
Sorry.
Thank you. So, in reality, you might think that that's the role you want, but it's very easy for anybody out there, anybody at MBD, anybody to pick out pieces that look wrong. It's another thing to have to jump in and fix those pieces.
True.
And so, like, for instance, if I walk down the street, I could find all the trash on the ground and all the cracks in the concrete and everything else. But am I going to go get concrete and pave it? Am I going to go fix that? Am I going to go pick up all the trash? No, people, it's very easy. This is why...
You expect that your taxes do that for you.
This is why people make comments all the time, because comments are easy, right? Comments are very easy, but actually getting to the root of the problem and fixing it and making something better, evolving something, that's where the challenge is, right? There's... like, ideas are a million, like, what do they say? A dime a dozen. Ideas are everywhere. How many people actually execute on their ideas?
That's why it comes down to like owning a business. And that's why it's hard to be a business owner, because you are taking that responsibility when somebody, just like if the government is taking responsibility to take our taxes, to say, we're going to be doing this and fixing these cracks and picking up this garbage, you pay taxes. We should be pissed off right now in America for what's going on because of all the taxes we pay for, right? In terms of, so when customers that are paying for an experience, their complaints matter. And so, yes, it's so easy to say, you don't know what it's like being me. Like I get, and I've had this conversation with you where I'm like, I get it. No, nobody understands. And that's the most challenging part about being a business owner, because it all does fall on you. Like there is no one, you can never say, well, why don't you fix this, member? Why don't you fix this? Because it's none of their responsibility, right? It's our duty to build a team that recognizes their part and create that environment in that team that recognizes their part, their duties, and their responsibilities. And in exchange, we give them what they are valued for in the business, right? Because everybody's priceless.
I don't think that anything that I said was looking at the member saying the member should fix anything.
No, right. You said it's easy to make a complaint.
I'm not talking about for you. It's very easy for you to have a complaint.
So I'm supposed to fix everything?
No. I'm not asking you to fix anything, actually. All I'm saying is very easy for you to find something that you don't like in the business.
Is that what you think I do?
I think that you have eyes for things that you don't like in the business.
I do have eyes.
Because it's very easy to pick those things out.
Do you think that, and this is an interesting question for myself, do you think that I want to find things wrong? Do you think I find joy in that? Like, ooh.
Sometimes I think you unconsciously don't realize that finding fault is something that you do.
I've consciously realized that.
And not just in business.
I've definitely
In life,
consciously
right?
realized that.
It's just like sometimes you navigate to that place.
Absolutely. I'm judgy.
Very judgy.
It's just, and I know that's one of the things that I am evolving out of, but it's also like, it's this human trait, right? Like we're here to judge. We're also here to use discernment, and discernment is judgment, right? It's a gut feeling. That's judgment. So it's just discerning whether this judgment is a judge because it's coming from a state of a low vibration where it's like, I want to find fault, or a judgment based off of, this is a real energetic feeling that needs to change in order to produce more positive results.
Yeah, I mean, I think discernment's choosing what you're paying attention to at the same time, right?
Right.
So you can pay attention to something and then come at it in a specific way that brings value to the conversation or the transformation of some system or service. And then there's another way that you can come at it where you just wanted people to know that something was wrong and something that was off, and that it's a character flaw or something like that. So I think depending on what type of energy you bring to a conversation, to a situation, or to an observation also determines how that situation is handled or taken.
So what would you say makes it the most challenging to work together? Just to like fast forward and like really get to a point here. When it comes to, obviously everyone just saw how our conversations happen. And this is pretty organic in terms of when we have conversations at home, it kind of sounds like this. It may get a little more heated. It may end up with like a silent moment or me just saying a lot and he's shutting down and then coming back to me.
Or me saying something back to you that you don't agree with and then you shutting down.
Right. A lot of it is, first of all, I think I step up a lot. I think I do a lot, not only at home, pregnant with a third kid. And so like also stepping into a business when I feel drained from complaints, I think it's necessary for me to be like, look, this is what's happening. I can't hold this. You take it because this is yours, right? Like this is not mine. I need to worry about the kids. I need to make sure my house is clean. I need to make sure the kids have lunch tomorrow. I have that stuff going on in my head as a mother, and my maternal nature needing to be present there. And because this is your business, really, I am your partner. I am in full support of you. I'm passionate about the same things. I think I often take it, wrap it up in a nice bow, and I hand it to you because it's not healthy for me to carry, right? It's not healthy for me to take all the complaints in and think that I can fix them.
Where's all the complaints? See, this is again.
No, I'm not saying this is like
no,
every
but
day.
This is very polarized. You're talking about all the complaints. What about all the lives that have been changed? What about? Hold on a sec. No, let me finish. No, you're focusing on
the challenges.
What?
I'm not. We're gonna get to the good parts.
But there's a balance that.
Yeah, we're gonna get to the good parts. We're getting.
I don't know.
There.
All right.
We're getting there. So, what would you say is the challenge? Like, what makes this challenging? Working with me. In your perspective.
I don't know. I honestly,
everything.
Yeah. I don't know.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
That's the I'm not good, I'm good.
Yeah. Sometimes you're just speechless with what to say next. Quite
Why?
honestly.
What makes it challenging?
I think that sometimes when we mix work and life, it becomes a competition with you. God forbid I said I was tired. Right away, you would bring up
Bitch, you don't think I'm tired?
how tired you are, the kids, this,
Dude, they
that.
wake me up 3 times a night.
Nobody's saying that
You're not allowed to be tired.
Nobody's saying that you're not tired. Nobody's saying that you're not struggling. Nobody's saying that you're not giving your best. Nobody's saying that you're not doing an amazing job for everything that you do. Nobody's not saying that. Nobody ever discounts that. You have the right and the space to be tired, to be angry, to be sad, to be happy, without being compared to every moment. Those things are vital and some of the most challenging things. Sometimes you ask me, why don't you ever open up to me? Because the moment I open up to you about something, it's a comparison.
Do you think so?
Often. Often. So no, I'm never tired. I'm never sad.
Yes, you are. You're always tired.
Do I stop? Do I stop? Do I stop?
No, you can't.
Do I keep going? Do I complain? No. I get my job done to the best of my abilities for whatever's in the tank right now.
Does anyone say you don't?
I don't know. I'm not sure. The space that I have to communicate with you about moments how I'm feeling because of work is a very tight space. And I know that sometimes when we bring up those conversations, they lead to something else.
Do you think it's because we are always together and working together, and a lot of my situation is dependent on yours? And so if I have no sense of control with, like, all right, if I don't have a say in this business.
Do you want control?
In what sense?
Because you're scared of
Like,
control.
go do this, go do that.
No,
Hell yeah.
You're scared of control. Once you have control, you get overwhelmed and then you back up.
No,
Because you have decisions to make and you have to live with the ramifications of whatever decisions that you do make. And that's scary.
I actually have no desire to control anyone or anything. I will say, when I have an overwhelming amount of responsibilities, I shut down, right? It's like, if I have too much to do, I'm going to do nothing. So that does happen. Like, it's overwhelming. It's like I go into freeze. I will also say that when you look at the dynamic of this relationship in terms of working together, and also me having to also be like, and want to be that divine feminine, that, very maternal role, being with my kids more often, having that space and enjoyment of doing what I'm good at in that sense, it does get overwhelming in a business when I don't have a voice there. Or I'm overloaded with, like, commuting and.
But you do have a
teaching
voice. You do have a voice, and you just said that you don't want to control anything.
Right. What you're saying is, when I do use my voice, it offends you. Like, I'm not allowed.
No, it's not what I'm saying.
Oftentimes when I do use my voice, it's like, it's so easy to make a complaint, but you don't know what it's like. You don't know what it's like. You can complain all you want.
I actually don't think I ever talk like that to you. I say.
You just said it in here, like.
But I didn't do all of this dramatics.
Somebody can make all the complaints.
Is that not truth? Is that not truth?
Yeah.
So why do you have to make a joke out of it? It's not truth. You can make a comment all you want. Actually,
I'm being lighthearted about this. You're being very heavy.
But it's not. But it's unnecessary.
What's unnecessary?
All of the facial expressions in that, it's unnecessary because you make a joke out of something because you don't want to take it seriously.
It's very. I just don't know. You want me to be here mad?
Okay.
I'm taking it. So this is my life. I take it seriously. What I'm saying is, in terms of you responding to my voice, you're the only you're the person at the top, right? So it's not like I could go to HR and be like, yo, this is happening here, and I think people are uncomfortable. I think we need to rework this and regroup this. I think we need to have conversations. It's you. It all lands on you at this moment, which is also obviously something we want to shift out of, right? Like, we want more help internally. We want more support where you're supported, where you have a team that's more eyes. So everyone is like, all right, Chris, let's huddle. Here's what's going on. And maybe we can make these changes without you having to have that overwhelm of decision making and holding it all. Like I said, everyone's gifting you. Wrapping it all up. Here you go, Chris. Wrapping it all up. Here you go, Chris. This is all yours, so take it. So I think also getting you help is vital, which we're working on right now. Owning 2 health clubs by yourself, right, is a lot to carry. And so you're feeling that. And it's overwhelmed for you. So maybe even talking about it is a little triggering, because who do you go to? You can't come to me because I just bitch about it, right? So who do you go to? Who's helping you in terms of being that support? Which is vital. You need a support. You need a bro support system, because wifey cannot be all of that, right?
But I don't ask wifey to be all of that.
Right. So I'm asking you who you go to.
Yeah, that's what
to help you carry that load. That's not my responsibility.
It's not. That's what I work on, you know? So who do I go to that? I guess kind of building that right now.
God.
God. God and I are pretty close.
Yeah. And I think so. I think that just touches on importance of like support systems. Like, I realized as a mother, like, immediately, I think my breastfeeding journey, I sat in circles. Like, for the first time in my life, I sat in those circles like that are on television, like support groups. I sat in a support group for breastfeeding because I was like, this is freaking hard and I don't like this. Can I talk to somebody about it? And so we all sit in a circle and bitch about breastfeeding. That's really helpful because you all get it out and you all realize you're there, right? But like, if it's 2 of us in a container where we're together all day and maybe sometimes we don't see eye to eye and we don't hear each other, the most important thing is to have an outlet. So now, like, I have mom friends, I have people that are going through the same thing where I'm definitely not the one to sit in a space and just complain, but we let things out. We're like, this is happening in my life. And sometimes your friend's just like, damn girl, I'm sorry. Like, I feel for you and I'm here for you. And that's it. Or, Chastity, you should really stop trying to do so much. Or, Chastity, I don't know how you do it all. And I'm like, me neither. But, you know, like, God gets me through it. And it's not an overwhelm until it is. And then I communicate that. So that's our work-life balance.
It's a good example.
So what are the rewards for this? Why do we keep doing it if it's so hard? And like, if it's like, why own businesses? Why do this? Why then on top of it add a podcast and make more work and be together even more? Why do it?
Well, I love you.
Aw.
I love our family.
I love you too.
I love our family. But sometimes, like, no, we're not. Sometimes I try to think about all the environments that we're in and which ones feel the best, right? And which ones make both of us feel more whole. And I think at the end of the day, why do this? I don't know. I ask God this all the time. I honestly do. I say, but my whole life has been around health and issues and challenges and resilience and motivation and inspiration. And like these last 3 years
since COVID
have been the most challenging out of all. And I just think a glimmer of hope to be able to share with somebody their internal strengths, their journey has meaning, that they can't imagine the beauty and light that they are, even in the dark times. That there's something about nobody denied. And I'm not even talking about the brand. Just, yeah, like in the eyes of God, like nobody's denied. And so I would love to just be able to share that message with people face to face, in every way possible.
And why is that rewarding for you? Like what, I love that answer. And I just want to, because I love the way you respond and I love how deep you got into it. What is the reward out of that? In terms of why do you keep owning a business? You're a CPA, you have all these skills. You go make a lot of money real quick. You go probably make $1 million by working in an office 9 to 5. Right? Like you could make some money on Wall Street. You could just go make some money. Why work 24/7 instead? Because that's your reality right now. Like you wake up, you're working, middle of the night, somebody texts you at 4 a.m., pipe broke, roof's leaking in Morristown, bathroom flooded, camera's not working, trainer just quit, last minute, full schedule. Why hold that all? What is the reward? What do you get out of it?
I don't know,
I have the answer.
You have the answer?
There's freedom.
Yeah.
There's freedom to create. There's freedom to be you. And like you said to me, like I'm afraid of that control. What it really is responsibility. There's responsibility there. With great power comes great responsibility, right? So you have that power. You're actually harnessing your own power and you get to make these decisions and know, wow, I made this decision and it worked. Or I made this decision and F me sideways, right? Like, because that did not work. But it's a really cool creative process. And there's so much freedom here. And even if it's hard to take a family vacation, right? Like, we just can't go away all the time. But, like, every day is a gift to be able to wake up and create whatever you want. Who else wants to come on the team and create a whole new program or leg of NBD? Who wants part, right? We get to share so much with not only each other and be creative as possible in our own world, but expand that out. And when we're talking about expansion and the opportunity of actually expanding a business, there's no cap. There's actually no cap. You are unlimited, right? Nobody is bossing you around saying, you know what, Chris, and we'll see how you're doing in a year, and maybe then we'll decide if you move up in the company.
Yeah. No, you're right. The creative process, I think it's two-pronged. The creative process in combination with the gift that we're giving people. I think that is why I'm so driven and motivated to do what I do. Because it is about freedom for all, and freedom in health, freedom in mind, freedom in finances, freedom with family. You think about all those and how much better of a world this would be if everybody felt that freedom to create. At the same time, they felt the freedom to uphold their responsibilities.
Which is why I think this is also a really cool business, because we're giving people the freedom in their body and expanding that into helping people feel the freedom in their mind, right? Through these conversations, and even when they're tough conversations, around family work balance. The reality is that the tough conversations are the amazing ones that we get to see each other's soul. We can be vulnerable and we could really feel the depths of what we're feeling, each other is feeling. And sometimes that's hard to know what somebody else is feeling. And Tyler wrote on our notes, what are some tips to manage? How do we manage this? I think number one, biggest tip is communication, right?
Communication.
Me going home and complaining, hey, if you don't like it, suck it up. It's going to happen because, like I said, I need to let it go. And me holding back is going to do me no favors. It's going to do our children no favors. It's going to do the company no favors, right? All these people. And look, there are not a lot of people complaining. I don't want to put that across either. It really is like this very select few. But sometimes it's like those A1s since day ones. And I want to make them happy. Maybe it's my own ish that like, oh, I really need to please this person because they've been here since the beginning. And I really want to make sure they feel loved here forever, right? Sometimes it's about letting go. Sometimes it's really about supporting somebody that's supported you since the beginning. And I think stuff like that is important. And second tip is to work through the emotions that come up, not just like blashing out, feeling what you're feeling, say what you're saying, but like regrouping, like after the emotional, like once we have deep conversations like this, I think we're really good about going back in, writing up. We do this often. I get out a piece of paper and say, okay, what do we really need to focus on right now? So we make the points that we really need to focus on.
Agreed.
Often. And then give me a number 3. What's a tip you got? Don't work with your wife.
I think the third tip is to look deep inside yourself, honestly, at all the triggers that you felt and that you offered, and see where you can grow yourself and where the other person is projecting. When you see both of those sides, not only do you grow, but you give compassion for the other journey. And to me, that creates a strong team that is able to grow and shine together and truly be of service to the world.
So am I just projecting all the time?
Not at all. Just sometimes.
All right. Well, thank you. I think that's good. Thank you guys for listening, watching, and subscribing to our channel. Following us on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. We have some really good content up here, and we hope you are following and enjoying it. Always let us know what you're thinking, feeling, and feel free to communicate your stories and share with your experiences. Do you work with a partner, or do you stay far away from that?
Or are you thinking about it?
Are you thinking about expanding into doing your own thing? It's definitely worth it.
I want to share one last thing. No matter what you're doing, if your perspective is right, even though it might not always feel good, you are always expanding. So keep on riding.
On the right
Thank you,
path.
guys.